G'day, my name is Tracey Cook and welcome to the podcast series Victim to Victory. This series gives a voice to those that have overcome obstacles in all forms, that dare greatly to share their real stories. Amazing humans like our upcoming guest that have seen hope and risen above those adversities to become victorious, that now support and inspire others to do the same. And today we are giving a voice to Rachel Rideout. Welcome to Victim to Victory.
Hello, how are you?
Absolutely fabulous. It's such a pleasure to have you here, Rachel. And before we get into where your story starts, I'm going to share some things about Rachel, because when you connect with her, and you go and have a look at what she's actually doing online and the lives she is changing and the communities that she is impacting and how she actually serves from her heart with passion and integrity, you are not going to want to miss out on this story. You are going to want to hear what has made Rachel, Rachel, because she is inspiring, she is empowering, and she's not just a Rachel. She is a mama. She is a single mama, and she is changing lives and providing choices and freedom to so many people that maybe were where she used to be. And I know that her story is going to impact on you. And I know how much she wants to show you the real Rachel. Rachel, thank you very much. Where does your story start?
Thank you. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Where does it start? Yeah. Life is a journey, and we have to learn and grow from it. And if we want to start with my journey into network marketing, entrepreneurship, started many years ago in my early 20s. I was working a job, and it just started out as something, to make some extra money. And as time went on, I wanted to learn more. I'm like, how are these people quitting their jobs? How are these people making all this money,
But what made you want to do that though? What made you want to quit your job?
Well, if we want to jump forward to the last 10 years, I was at a job that was just unfulfilling. The people were not, I guess you could say, in alignment with me. I always knew that I had a different purpose in life. Like, just doing what I was doing was not what I was supposed to be doing. And once I started getting into networking and direct sales, things like that, I knew there was something more than just, pitching a product. So that's when having personal things happen in my life, with my daughter deciding to, go down a different path, and, having a narcissistic partner and things like that, my mental health was like, I was not in a good headspace. Work, personal life, all of that was just, and I knew I had to do something to improve myself. And so I started doing that. And doing that, I knew if I'm not the only one in this world going through this, I know I'm not the only one. So I started searching out groups like on Facebook and seeing that there's so many people out there going through the same things I was at that time. And so I started working on my mental health, on my spirituality. That's a big thing for me, is spirituality, and motivation, inspiration. And I tell people all the time, I can motivate, I can inspire you, but the motivation has to come from you, because inspiration is the feeling, but motivation is the action. So I knew I had to start taking action and showing people that whatever deepest part of hell that you're in at this time, it can get better. And I'm living proof of that, because I used to, if anybody reads the first book in The Power of Yes, I talk about sitting on my bathroom floor just crying because I had no hope left. But being the spiritual person that I am, something spoke to me and said, you've got to get through this. And then something later on, as I started improving on myself, said, you have to help other people do the same. So that's just my hope, is that, you know, me being out there sharing, being motivational, inspirational, that I can give somebody, you know, something to hang on to for at least one more day. And then the next day they have one more thing to hold on for one more day. Because it's just, when you're in a bad place, it's just taking it literally day by day. And then eventually those days turns into weeks, and those weeks turns into months. And then you might have a little bit of a setback. And then then it gets better again, because you've worked on that mindset and you've worked on that spirituality, that, you know, okay, this is just the game's in my head, right? You're fighting your own demons, and those demons want to come out and they want to play the card, but, you know, you have the angel on each shoulder, right? And they're each talking to you. So it's like, which one do you want to listen to? Oh, I hope you choose the good one.
That's it. That's it. 100%. Now, you said a few things there, and I hope you don't mind. Can you share a little bit deeper with us? You mentioned in the first book, because you are an author, in the first book, you were sitting on the bathroom floor. What led to that moment?
Well, just a lot of depression and anxiety, and the things going on at my job at that time. People were not very nice to me, and it led me to a point where I was so depressed, paranoid, because I was told I was being watched, like all these, like, it was bad. It was really, really bad. And it was to the point that it was, you know, I'm a very strong person, but when you're having to deal with something like that every single day, it wears on you after a while. And it was to a point, like, on my way to work, I was praying something would happen to me, that I wouldn't have to go to my job. On the way home, on my way home, I'm praying that I make it home, right? But on my way to work, I was praying, please let something happen so I don't have to go to this job. It was really that bad. It was to the point where I don't want to die, but just disable me to the point that I don't have to go.
And I think so many people, you know, with mental health and work stress and toxic environments, can really relate to that, Rachel, as well, because there are people hanging on to jobs now that possibly they don't want to have, or they're grateful for, but they're fearful of. And there's a lot more pressure in the world and a lot more stress, and mental health is, you know, utmost the number one issue in the world at the moment, I believe. So when you're in that deepest, darkest place, you've mentioned working on your mindset, you've mentioned personal and professional development. What was the defining moment where a light bulb went off and you thought, I am meant for more? Was there a real outstanding defining moment?
There wasn't, I wouldn't say there was an actual moment. It was just, as I was going through it and, like, you know, writing my affirmations and writing in my journal, and, you know, I had a coach at the time who was really helping me with my mental health and personal development. And, you know, and I'm like, well, she's helping me, right? I'm like, well, I have to help others. You know, I can't keep this to myself. And so that's when I started making journals, you know, for people that I give away for free for people to write in. And, you know, and you use them as a guide for people, and just guide yourself through it. And because that's what I did. And thank God for YouTube, because YouTube was where I started. Literally, I started with YouTube. That's where I started. And it went from there and to the now I still listen to my YouTube videos, but now I do it for myself. And social media is great because you can get inspired by so many people, and it's like, and you learn how to think about things differently, and how to, if people are into manifesting, and how to manifest differently, how to use your words correctly to get yourself in that mindset, and to actually start, once you start, what is it? I believe when you put it down on paper and then you speak it out loud, the universe is going to start working in your favor. You still have to do the actions, right? The motivation part, you still have to do the actions. But once you start putting out those words, the universe is listening, but they're also going to see, they're going to watch to see if you're doing the steps you need to make those things happen. So definitely. Yeah. So as I've learned just over the years, the better I'm getting at it. And I'm still improving on it, because I still have my demons where, the little devil tries to get into my head. And just not too long ago, I just moved. So I'm very emotional right now. Did I do the right thing? Did I move to the right place? Am I doing the right thing for my family? So all those things start going through my head right now. And it's, so I was fighting with myself for just like a week ago, I was fighting with myself. So definitely, if I didn't have this learning and of the mindset, personal development, both business and professional, I'd probably still be a hot mess right now. You would have seen me last week. My hair was looking crazy. I wasn't wearing no makeup. I went to the store. These people probably thought I was a homeless lady. I was like, I don't care. Don't see me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I'm so glad that you're in a space now where you are more aware of those voices that are coming in, and you've got strategies in place to be able to deal with them, so that you're not sitting in that space. So you can grow and move through that space to still keep going to be the better version of yourself, because we all have those self-limiting beliefs. We all have those inner critics that sit on our shoulder and whisper in our ear, and they try to keep us small. They try to keep us safe. And that's our subconscious just letting us know that we're growing. That's growth, right? Now, I want to talk a little bit about this because you are an author. You've been in a previous book, and I know that you've got something very special coming up very soon, that the great Stacey Hall has collaborated with a whole heap of authors to bring out and produce. And it is The Power of Yes, building your network marketing business without leaving your comfort zone. And I love what Joe Vitale shared on the cover of this book. Joe Vitale is from The Secret, and he's quoted for saying, "Dreams do come true. Get this book at the first step towards expecting miracles." And that is just so powerful within itself. And I know that all of the collaborative authors are really working to stretch out of their comfort zone. And I love how it's building a network marketing business without leaving your comfort zone. So when did you actually first realize that you really wanted to be an author and share your story?
Well, when I was younger, I always loved to write. I wrote songs, I wrote poems. I used to choreograph, like all that stuff, and this, as you get older and life gets in the way, all that kind of, diminished and got pushed to the side. And it was funny because when the first Power of Yes book, the when they started asking for authors, I had written the first chapter of a book that I'm writing. I'm still writing it. But because I was like, I want to start writing. And I'm like, well, let me first write about network marketing because that's what I'm doing. And but I would also, in the future, love to write more inspirational books and things like that. But so it was just kind of funny, how the universe works, that I see a post from Stacy asking for authors, and that self-limiting belief said, she won't accept you. What are you doing? Don't do it. And I was like, you know what? The worst she can say is no, right? So I sent her a message and she would say, we would love to have you. And I was like, oh, okay. All right.
That's so fantastic. I love that. I love that. And what was one of the most surprising things that you learned in writing your chapter of the collaborative book that's due to be released very soon in the Power of Yes series?
Well, I mean, the first book, when we wrote the first book and I, did my chapter, and I did have somebody help me because I was nervous. I was like, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. And so, and actually what I had basically written out myself was the person who was helping me was like, it's perfect. It's fine. Just a few minor edits. So I'm like, okay, I might be pretty good at this. And then we did here in the second book, I sent in my chapter, very minor edits. And I'm like, okay, so I might be kind of good at writing. This might be something that I can actually do, it's like, because it's when you're not used to doing something and you're just an amateur, you could say, you don't know if you're good at something. You're just hoping for the best.
Yeah. And I think when you're speaking from the heart as well, and there's just such a neuroscience to having something in your head and actually putting it on paper and speaking it out loud as well. So I love that. I love that. And
I better write things out. When I go to speak them, they don't come out the way I write them.
Yeah. So that can happen as well. Yeah. And I think it's from a creator mindset, we're always wanting to improve on what we're actually doing as well. And just the compound effect, little daily consistent actions lead to bigger things. So, we just want to grow and expand. And what do you wish the reader of your chapter will take away? What's the biggest takeaway your reader, the reader, when they read your powerful chapter, will actually take away?
That it's good to be creative and, and create your own stuff. I know with social media, it's so easy to copy what other people do. But you can be inspired by that and make it your own. You can stay within your comfort zone because you might follow somebody, right? Because that's who you want to emulate. That's what you want to be like. But you're like, that's not me though. Right. But there's an inside personality in there that wants to be like that person. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't come off that way because it's not you. So staying in your comfort zone to me is being your authentic self and sharing your message, sharing whatever it is that you have to share, but doing it in your own style. And so you can still be creative and make it your own. And so hopefully, I hope this inspires the person to stay in their comfort zone, but be creative. And, but also don't be afraid just to push the box just a little bit. Mm-hmm. Step outside your box just a little bit and try it. And then if you don't like it, you can always go back, try something else. Don't be afraid, even though you're in your comfort zone and you're attracting the people you want for your business, clients, customers, whatever it may be. But don't be afraid to still try something new, because you never know how it's going to turn out. It could turn out to be probably something, the best thing that you ever did. Like, why was I waiting? Why was I questioning myself this whole time? I should have done this a year ago, 5 years ago. So stay in your comfort zone, work your business, whatever it is that you're doing, you're pushing for. But don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to rock the boat just a little bit.
Yeah. So I think as well with comfort zone, we think we have to be a totally different person to go outside our comfort zone. And I think for comfort zone, being in alignment with your own core values and beliefs, and just attracting people that can actually help support you. And that's where the natural growth will actually happen and the natural expand will actually happen. So when we always hear this, success is at the end of your comfort zone. But if you're in alignment with your core values and your beliefs, then you're going to attract people around you like that. So you can actually grow supported without even sometimes, for a lot of people, realizing that they do grow as well. So I love that you touched on that. I love that. And do you feel like you really need, I think we've touched on this, you really need to go right out of your comfort zone to be successful? Do you think it's just kind of like New Year's Day, I've made a New Year's resolution, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to, read, listen to Tony Robbins every morning and I'm going to go to bed early and I'm going to drink water, when you haven't done any of that? But that's what we do, right? We set ourselves up to fail. Because we set ourselves up to fail. We fight for our limitations, right? And then after a week, you think, just go and get a burger. And then everything blows out because we self-sabotage. So
yes,
how do you feel about people that say, I can't go out of my comfort zone, I've tried it and it doesn't work?
Who can't go out of their comfort zone? Well, it's I understand, because people have their self-limiting beliefs of how they're going to do something, but the question to ask is, how's that working for you so far?
Love that.
And if it ain't working, we got to fix something. So that's why I mentioned just taking those baby steps outside of that comfort zone and just trying something new, because like I said, it could be the best thing that happened to you. Like it could be that switch that turns on the money flow.
So you don't know until you try.
Stuff all the time. I try stuff all the time. Either flops or flips. You know what I mean? It's like
definitely.
I'm not afraid to go out there and look stupid. It's like whatever. People know me. That's just
Love
Rachel.
Love
being
it.
crazy again.
And what have you got planned in 2022?
Well, being that I just moved to a new state, I'm trying to get myself acclimated to this cold weather. Coming from sunny California to the Midwest, it's a totally different, scenario. So I want to share that with people, just how my life has changed. But I want to write more. I want to be more creative this year. And I want to help more people build their business, whether, with me or me helping them build their own. It doesn't matter. I love to help people and I love to see people grow, and to be a part of that is like awesome. So I want to travel and I want to meet people, and I don't have any, I don't set myself up to fail anymore. I do make a dream board, a vision board. I do that, but I don't anymore set myself up to fail and say, if you don't, accomplish this, then, you suck. It's okay. It's time to let's reevaluate what's going on. And I try to do that every few months. So I've been real quiet lately, on social media and personal life and business, because I'm reevaluating myself right now. And because I'm reinventing myself. So don't be afraid to stay quiet for a little bit and reevaluate what you want to do, because that's one great thing about entrepreneurship is you can keep reinventing yourself. And I'm a Gemini, so I have many faces.
Yeah.
And I change anytime. So I'm a woman too. So
That's fantastic. And what message would you like to leave our audience on today, Rachel?
I just want to leave out there to everybody, just be your authentic self. Don't try to be anything or anyone that you're not. We're talking about attraction and, and alignment. You want to attract the right people to you in alignment with you and your core values, like we had spoke about. Your core values, I would say, take that. That's something I've learned recently, is take your core values, go through and find at least 3 or 4 words that you want your core values to be, and work with that. And that's how you're going to find your ideal clients, your ideal team members, whatever, customers, whatever it is that you're trying to grow this year. And just staying in your comfort zone, but not being afraid to push that little button just a little bit. Don't be afraid. It's okay. You survived 100% of your other days, right? So you're going to be okay.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for being brave to share snippets of your story as well, Rachel. And we'll definitely be sharing where to connect with you. You are so appreciated. And you can find the Victim to Victories podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and our Facebook group. So please subscribe, share, and comment. Please leave Rachel a review to be the change that the world needs. And let me leave you with a message of figure out who you are and do it on purpose. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.